He doesn't like Canadians.
Does not like any. Well, it seems you guys kind of don't either. What happened to Toronto on Saturday?
Oh, that wasn't our fault.
No, I know. I know.
Yeah, that was a bum out. We booked the show, started selling tickets, and then for some reason, not all the bands, but for some reason in our contract, the promoter for the Pouzza Fest in Montreal had a radius clause that said, since we are one of the headliners at Pouzza Fest, we can't play Toronto.
That's crazy.
Which is really crazy because it's like 6 hours away.
Yeah.
And it's a completely separate market. But, we were, getting paid as a headliner of the festival, and that was in the contract. So we had to cancel the Toronto show and play Connecticut. The Connecticut show was amazing, but, it's frustrating playing, having a Canadian tour in Toronto not being on it. It just doesn't really make me. But yeah, we kind of got screwed. Like, I don't know. We were bummed out because that's the last thing we want to do is book a show and then just straight up cancel it.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of glad we're doing this interview too, so that way it'll clear it up a little bit too and let people know what happened in case they don't know and whatnot. So
yeah,
so nice.
and it's partially our booking agent's fault too, and he felt bad and because he did not read that part of the agreement.
Well, it seems ridiculous. Why would a contract in Montreal affect a Toronto show? Like radius clauses are 100 kilometers, 200 maybe usually, but
yeah, and that's kind of like what happened. That's kind of like what happened is he he didn't think that would be there, and then the promoter called after he saw our show on sale and was like, yeah, it's not working. Hey, by the way, so.
Right. Well, I assume you guys will be back eventually with the next record or what have you, because, this is the second part of the Sticks and Stones tour, right?
Yep.
So...
Yeah, I'm trying to get it, if there's time, we got a tour going out, like the next tour going out, I'm trying to make it up by having our agent book us there, even if it's even if it doesn't make sense, you know what I mean? Like, if we got to go out of our way to get up there to play it, Well,
bring one of your other bands and then just drag the guys out for the one show.
All right.
That'll work. So let's talk about the Sticks and Stones tour, though. So whose idea was it to... the record's 10 years old now. Whose idea... Or I guess 11 years old now. But whose idea was it to do this tour? Out of all the things... you could have toured the Ramones EP. You could have toured an acoustic thing to match the Christmas EP.
Well, yeah, the whole thing, a long time ago we did the self-titled 10-year anniversary of our self-titled tour, and that was such a success to the fans, everyone immediately is like, you're going to do Sticks and Stones, right? And then already people are like, you're going to do Catalyst, right? So it just works out because we're kind of in between records, but we have that diehard fan base who love our new albums, but then they also could care less if we had a record or not. They just want to hear us play songs. They just want to see us, So it's like we did this tour and before the new year, and we kind of did it almost backwards, where it's our biggest record, so you would play like these huge rooms. But what we did, we wanted to make it more of an event, so we played smaller rooms than we normally played, and they were selling out in the first 3 hours, the first 2 or 3 days, and stuff like that. So it got such a buzz and hype. All these fans started tweeting us, like, you didn't play here, why not Seattle, why not whatever. So we got an offer to do some shows in Canada. So we said, hey, and the Canada thing was about Sticks and Stones, like, hey, we would like them to do that here. And so we decided to tag in all the cities that we missed, most of the cities that we missed the first time around, and make it up to them. So it's been going amazing. And the crazy thing is the crowd reaction. The first 3 shows, literally the kids were singing so loud I could not hear my guitar on stage. For real. It was awesome.
That is a good problem to have, I think. That's nice.
Yeah. I kind of, when I play, just sort of zone out anyway. I'm not really listening to anything. It's pretty much adrenaline, so
that's
I don't know what's going on.
So you're in a zone,
yeah.
Are you... Okay, so when you're in this zone, are you trying to, because it's all muscle memory playing the guitar, is it all matching the parts because you know them so well, or are you in a zone where you're just kind of jamming out and you get off stage and the guys are like, what the fuck was that? What were you playing?
Yeah, I don't, especially with these songs, we've been playing them for so long, it's like, they're etched, in my brain. I don't need to really, yeah, I mean, I'm like that with any show though. Like a lot of people are very particular about how they want their sound or just like in general, like in bands and things like that. But for me, at the point when the show starts, I'm having, so much fun. Can't really hear. I just see and enjoy. That makes sense.
Yeah. Did these small rooms inspire the live record? Because I heard you guys recorded that in a Chain Reaction. Is that where it was? Yep,
we did the Chain Reaction, which is I guess it's like the West Coast CBGBs, you could say.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to, obviously it's not. CBGBs has been around for years and years and years, but Chain Reaction is the place where everyone, when you're a young band, you want to play that place because it's in this part of Southern California where there's always kids that come out, and they're the kind of kids that just go crazy. So yeah, we decided we've never had a live record. It's been 15 years, and it's been a long time. And Radio Surgery's been out for a bit now, and we weren't in the place to write and record a new album. But I did have some songs that I was really into on the Sticks and Stones at Soundcheck. I would just start writing some riffs, and I really liked them. So we decided to, make this live record and throw 3 new songs on it, which are being mixed now. So it's going to be cool. Like bands, I feel like we're fans of music, so when you hear about a band releasing a live record, it sounds like a bullshit record for the most part. It's like, a live record, cool. I already have all those songs, But there are some really good live records out there. And, for instance, even the Mark, Tom, and Travis show from Blink, still is the only Blink record I'll listen to now. Like, I love all their records. But if I want to put on a Blink record, I listen to that because the songs are a little bit faster, a little bit more aggressive. The banter in between is pretty funny. And it's like all my favorite songs from the albums on one without it being just, a greatest hits. It's cool. It's different. So for us, there's bands, and that's one of the records that I think did that. There's bands that actually take pride in a live record, and that's what we wanted to do. Was we wanted to make it, different, where it sort of brings new life to some songs that go over really well live that aren't singles. If that makes sense. So there's some songs that kids who don't go to our shows might not listen to that might be later on the record, but live they're insane. So like we redid a lot of the parts in some songs where there's stops and stuff where you can hear the crowd sing along. We left the banter, we left a lot of stuff, and it's mixed really well, and it's really cool. It's like it really like captures our live show, and also I feel brings new life to some of our older songs, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like there's a couple songs that I feel like fans might not love on the record that they'll now like in its live state, if that makes sense.
It does. It certainly makes sense, but that's interesting that you would hear that. Are those songs that you've heard like backlash from people, when you put out a record being like, man, I don't dig those tunes as much as the other ones?
No,
like,
I just mean single wise, right, I just mean like,
yeah.
I feel like with any kind of music, there's different layers different kind of fans where like, there's a fan who might really, really love Sticks and Stones and really love Self-Titled and might like the singles from Catalyst, but don't know the deep album tracks, and will hear this because they like the Sticks and Stones songs on it and be like, what song is that? Oh, that's from, does that make sense? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
There's just different levels of fans, and there's those fans that know everything, and then there's fans that know the singles, but the kids that buy it for the singles, well, now I think like the live versions of these other songs are really gonna, I don't know, maybe make them even dive deeper into our catalog.
I like how you keep saying kids. It's making me think that, we're the same age, but it's making me think now that people that come to the Newfound Glory shows are still, 18, 19 years old. Is that the case? Or are there people, I still go to the
yeah,
shows.
I say kids because I'm a kid, like,
Okay. Cool.
I say kids like it could be, we could be at a freaking Billy Joel concert and I'd be like, yeah, the kids there were really cool. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I just use that. That's just my.
I got you. So the audience has grown with you, though. It's a range of ages.
Well, if you're at a punk rock concert, you're still a kid, right? You know.
Oh, I like that. Good. That makes me feel younger.
Matter,
Thank you. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Descendants. I don't want to grow up. You know, that's about being. We're kid. You know, we're man child. But yeah, I mean, I love our fans because that's the cool thing about it at this point is there's a lot of young kids, you know, that fight to get to the front of the barricade. Mm-hmm. Then there's like the older kids that are in the middle pitting and going crazy. And there's just like the hardcore kids, there's punk kids. It's just kind of like we're all across the board. And it's flattering that it's like that because we're lucky. It's not like that for bands that have been around for 15 years all the time. You know, but you know, we are getting to the point where like we're getting kids that are fans. Now you got me all like subconscious.
No, don't worry about it. It makes sense.
But we're getting kids at the shows that are like 16. They're like, you know, my older brother gave me your CD, and he's here right now. You know, that we're like crossing the generations of families and stuff.
Was that a bit of influence behind making the Ramones disc, maybe to reach out to a new generation for them to hear it, or was it just stuff like you grew up with it, you had some studio time booked? And
the Ramones, I've always liked the Ramones. That's sort of like interesting because like I've always liked the Ramones, and then Bamboozled. We actually put this on the back of the record, so fans who bought the record on Record Store Day could read why it happened, because we didn't just want to release off the cover record. But what happened was 2 years ago there was that Bamboozle Festival in New Jersey, and they did a night. I think Friday night they do this thing called Hoodwink. It's either Thursday or Friday. It's like the night before Bamboozle starts. And what they do is they get some of the bands from the Bamboozle Festival to do cover song sets. So it's like a smaller version of the festival. It's like a pre-party since everybody's in town. So they came to us and asked us if we wanted to do a Ramones cover set with Marky Ramone on drums. And we're like, fuck, like, of course, you know. So we then learned, you know, like 15 Ramones songs. And I think when diving deep into that and learning the songs is like, it's crazy to see how, I don't know, before their time they were, you know, like, and even though the recordings weren't great, like the way they would write songs, they would throw this pop element in where they were inspired by like, you know, you can tell like 50s doo-wop and, you know, and then later on like the Beach Boys, but then like with punk rock. It was really, really cool. So in doing that, we played the show with Marky, and it was not only did we play a show with Marky, but we were in New York City practicing with him. And it was just such an experience. It was such an experience, and we knew all the songs, and we knew Record Store Day was coming. And there's like the Ramones song "Rock and Roll Radio," and he's like, you know, we need change and we need it fast before rock's just part of the past, you know. And it's such a funny thing because he literally predicted that. You know, there's like barely any rock stations in the United States. It's all hip hop, pop music, or, you know, whatever the new format is. And it's crazy. So, and same thing with record buying. People, you know, a lot of young kids don't know what it's like to go out and buy a rock record. They go out and, you know, they download the new pop single or whatever. So just with the lyrics for that song, playing with Marky, getting kids to go to the record store again, records, you know, it just seemed like a cool thing to do. You know, it just seemed like it all fit. So that's why. There's like multi-meanings to that record.
Yeah, you're going deep. I mean, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I was just thinking when you were talking about the rock stuff, I had Haley on the show. I do a video show too, and when Paramore was up here a week ago, we had them on. And they've done a really good job at keeping the rock band in the pop music sphere, I guess. I don't know. I don't really have a question with that. I just find it interesting. You were talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, they're like one of the few bands that have made that work somehow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're a rock band, and you know, Paramore is a full-on rock band, and that is why they are still a band. Because when other bands went completely pop, you know, Paramore might have some pop songs here and there, but they're all centered around, you know, lyrics that are real, that are heartfelt, music that is written from the heart, not written by some producer, you know, and they're a real rock band, you know, and they have pop songs, but it's like still like like we just talked about, listen to the Ramones record. You know?
Yeah. No, I just mean they're working in that, like, pop radio will play them. Like, they're one of the few bands that gets played in that genre.
For sure.
Which I think is cool. And you were just there in New York, just to segue into this Robin Williams story, because is this true, or did you just tweet something, I saw Robin Williams in a comic book store?
No, that was true.
Wasn't just a hairy man randomly in there?
Yeah, like Haley was busy doing like press and stuff during the day, because the record came out and it was like their first show back in New York or whatever.
Sure.
So I love New York. There's some key stores that I always go to, and they have the Forbidden Planet comic store that wasn't too far from me. So I just walked. I did like a 20-minute walk and went to Forbidden Planet, and I was just looking for a comic book specific trade and looking at their like nerdy board games that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And Robin Williams I looked to my left, and Robin Williams is kind of walking by, looking at the shelf I'm looking at, and I was like, hey man, I was like, thank you for all you do for me, because I told someone I said that, they're like, well, why'd you say that? And I was like, well, think about it, like this guy's life is devoted to entertaining, like anything, like his job is to get better at entertaining us. You know what I mean? Like his movies aren't for himself, they're for us.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I told him, I was like, thanks for all you do for me, man. And he was like, oh, no problem, big guy, or whatever. And he, because I'm a giant next to him, okay. And he like patted me on the back and kept looking. And then when it came time to check out, I was buying my booking agent this trade, this book called Incognito. That's a really awesome Brubaker book. And I was in line buying that, and Robin Williams was in front of me, and there wasn't a line. It was just like Robin Williams buying his massive stack of comics and trades and like graphic novels. And then the checkout girl, and then there was me, and if you know people that work at comic stores, they love talking about comics. So I'm in line holding the Incognito book, and the lady's like, hey, have you read that? I was like, yeah, I'm buying it for a friend of mine as a gift because he hasn't read it. And Robin Williams was like, what is it? And then me, Robin Williams, and this lady are just talking about this comic book Incognito, and then he went back and he bought it. He grabbed that one. And then he bought my comic book shirt off the wall. And it wasn't like an Iron Man shirt. It was like some deep comic thing. It was like something I didn't even know what it was. It was like legit. Like he's a true fan. And it was cool. We talked to him, and that's it. He left by himself. It was awesome.
It's cool that I'm sure you get approached too from time to time, right? From fans just saying thank you and whatnot. So it's cool that it hasn't, I guess, blemished you from going up and doing that to other people. I'm glad you've done that because now I won't feel as stupid doing it. I am. Here's the thing. I'm a fan. Like my friend who writes like reality shows or whatever. Mm-hmm.
He
writes reality shows. That's great.
Well, you know what I mean? Like,
I totally do. Yeah.
Not so much reality, but more like those, like, the Pawn Star type shows with like the concept. He wanted me. He was thinking. I mean, he was joking. We never really did it, but I'm such a fan of stuff. He wanted to do a show about me, like being a fan, and because like I go to like when I go to a UFC event, I'll run down to the floor if I see a fighter I like and be like, hey, let me get a picture. Like I have no problem with acknowledging someone's, talent by like putting myself out there. You know what I mean?
So are you more likely to be always friendly with people that come up to you then?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, because you get it. That's cool.
Yeah, all the time. I'm cool, and also with Haley. Like Haley's cool with people too. But because of that, I know different levels. Like I wanted to get a picture with Robin Williams so bad. You know what I mean? But I saw him. He was dressed like in just everyday clothes. He had some hat on. Dude, this guy doesn't want a photo of him out there like that. So I knew, doing what I do, as bad as I wanted to have a picture with Peter Pan and fucking Mrs. Doubtfire, I was like, I can't, So I just talked to him because he's a normal dude, but I can still acknowledge what he does. Same thing on the flight over. I saw Bill Paxton, and I ran out the plane. He was on my flight to the East Coast, and I saw the text and like, dude, Weird Science, Alien, Terminator, Twister, Titanic, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
But he has this movie. He has this amazing movie called Frailty that he directed and starred in. It didn't really get tons of love, but it's insane. You should see it.
Yeah,
it's
well,
like,
I like movies.
It's one of those like Sixth Sense endings where you're like, whoa, it's like crazy. So I caught up with him. I was like, hey man, I just want to let you know that Frailty was like one of my favorite movies. It's amazing. And he was like, no way. He's like, thank you. You know, he's like, you got to see Mud. If you haven't seen Mud, you got to see it. He's like, it's with Matthew McConaughey and it's great.
Oh, that's a new one, right?
Yeah, it's brand new. So anyway, I'm definitely a fan, and you just know, you just put yourself in their shoes, you know, just like, you know, so.
Cool.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's not where I expected the conversation to go. I thought we'd talk a little more about songwriting, but that's fine. That's interesting. I like it. It's going to be fun to print. So I got to.
We can talk. I have time, so you can.
You do have time. Okay, cool. So, because what I was, you know, reading the Wikipedia page, because that's what we do nowadays. Seeing that you're the only composer credited on Sticks and Stones. Is that is that true, or is that just a wiki kind of whatever?
Well, it's weird. The way our band works is I write all the music. I will come to the band, and I'll bring all the songs, arrange the music or whatever, you know.
Like full on demos, drums, and everything.
Yeah, or like computer drum,
sure.
or drum ideas or whatever it is. You know, like I'll just have the song written, and we'll put it together in a practice space. And then there's sort of, you know, the lyric process is we'll give Steve the song, right? Steve Klein, our other guitar player. And what happens is when I write a song, I have an idea for a melody in my head. However, it's better to have two options to choose from. Mm-hmm. So I'll give Steve the, you know, he'll get the music. He'll go and write chorus ideas and lyric ideas. We then get together. If we like mine more, we'll use mine and he'll work off mine. Or if it's his, we'll work off his. I would say more than half we use all of his verses and things like that. Like, because he has a great way. He writes great lyrics, in my opinion. So, and then as far as the melody goes, we work together on piecing together the best melodies. But I would say Steve's written like 70% of our lyrics, 80% of our lyrics.
Wow. So is there ever times where Jordan comes to Steve or you and just says, I can't sing these words? Like, does that happen if he's not writing his own words?
I mean, we all, it's weird. Like, we all go through it, you know, and we're all each other's biggest critic. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like, we all sort of, you know, pick apart what we do. I mean, me and Steve will battle on a song, you know. We'll like, be like, no, dude, like, I'll be like, your verse is cool, but I hate your chorus. And then we'll be like, oh, this part sucks, you know. And we'll battle to get it to the right point, you know. And Jordan too. Jordan gives his opinion and everything, but you know, like, you know, I don't know. Just like when the inspiration's coming, regardless of where it's coming from, as long as it's from your band, it shouldn't matter, you know.
That's interesting. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. It's interesting when a singer is able to still put the emotion in, because I mean, I would have thought before doing this interview that he would have written the lyrics because I know the songs and I feel like those are his emotions because you connect with the singer when they're saying certain words. But now I'm going to have to re-listen to everything and rethink it all and be like, well, interesting.
Well, you know, I mean, it's weird. It's like there's different things. Like Sunny is a song Jordan really wanted to put together about on Sticks and Stones. Sunny's a song that he really wanted to put together about his grandfather that died when we were making the record. He was really close with. His nickname was Sonny. Mm-hmm. So we did Sonny. So Steve wrote that with Jordan. You know, it's more of Jordan's song. You know what I mean? Even though he put most of the lyrics together. And then there's like, you know, My Friends Over You was a song at the time that I wrote most of the lyrics of about an ex-girlfriend of mine in South Florida that I was breaking up with when moving to make the Sticks and Stones record, which is really funny because it says My Friends Over You. Really, it's My Band Over You. But that was when we kind of, but who's going to write that in a song, you know? But technically, my band, my band are my friends. But you know, that was that sort of sarcastic spin on it, you know, and that's why it's that with that song, you know, the chorus is like a serious emotion, then it gets to that lyric, and it's just like a sort of tongue in cheek, you know. And yeah, that was about leaving our hometown. And me telling this girl, like, look, I can't, I got things to do, and I can't, you already sort of broke my heart at one point, and I can't really make this work. I got to be in this band. And then same thing, like Steve wrote, one of my favorite songs that Steve wrote lyrics for on Sticks and Stones is Forget My Name. And because I love that, you know, we all were going through that point where I remember talking to my friends in South Florida about Forget My Name, or not about Forget My Name, but what Forget My Name came from. I remember talking to them and being like, dude, I don't want to move to West Coast. My whole band wants to move. I love it here. I don't know. And they're like, no, man, you got to like try it. You got to like go for it, you know? And that was when we all were living with our parents, and we moved to California to make Sticks and Stones. So that was like our growing up transition, like our leaving home. So the song on the album, Forget My Name, to me is one of my favorites because it's pretty honest about what was happening at that time.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that was the culmination of the cross country travel. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Is the record? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go.
Well, I was going to talk about just the set list for the, like, are you playing the record solid in a set and then moving to, like, I was switching topics almost. I apologize.
Oh, it's okay.
But like,
yeah, we play
two sets.
We play start to finish. So we play My Friends Over You second, which is really cool because usually we always have to close with it, and now it's awesome because it kind of gave us, I guess, a little bit more confidence because I feel like at times we're so used to closing with it. We feel like that's what we have to close with. And then this tour, you know, we played it second, and you see how little kids care that it's second. You know, like they love it, but it's like we're able to end with, you know, to play our most popular song second is pretty cool.
Oh, so that's why it was okay, because it is the big hit. Interesting. I like Dress to Kill,
yeah,
but that's me.
It's second on the album. And, you know, it's our biggest party song, and kids love that. You know, that's like the lyric everyone has tattooed on them and stuff.
So is the set only like half an hour? No, you must be playing a second set of like other stuff too.
Yeah, we play the album, and then we get a little drink, and then we come back up and play like 9 more songs.
That's cool. And it kind of like a compilation of everything over the years kind of thing, whenever you guys feel like playing?
Yeah, yep.
Cool. All right, so I'm going to let you go. We do something called 5 questions, 5 quick questions, 1-word answers.
Okay.
Road or studio?
That is like the hardest question right there.
That's what Haley said. That's funny.
I guess it changes.
Today.
Right now in my life,
yeah.
Studio.
Cool. Lennon or McCartney?
McCartney.
When you hear a song, what usually hits you first? Lyrics, melody, or rhythm?
Melody.
Song you've written you're most proud of?
Dear God, and it's a What's Eating Gilbert song. It's a solo song.
Cool. And in 1 word, Newfound Glory.
Consistent.
Nice.